Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 4, Episode 15. And the name of this episode is Nobody Else is Dying, and this is the Season 4 finale. Yo, this episode was so good. I was so here for it. Man, this was really good. So let me begin. So the episode, we see little baby Christopher, which is the baby of Laurel and Wes. The baby's pretty much in the hospital. And then we saw from the last episode there was this bad accident, and we saw that Bonnie was in a car and she was talking to Annalise, and she lets her know that Denver has the hard drive, so he's working. So he's pretty much working on both sides. And then all of a sudden this accident happened. And we see that Nate's on the scene and he's reporting, that, there was an accident. So we're all made to believe that it was Bonnie. Because that's immediately where I drew that. I thought, because we saw Denver saw that Bonnie was asking about, he had footage of her talking, to evidence. And he pretty much is saying that you either do something about it or I will. So we're thinking that, okay, so I'm thinking like Denver put a hit out on Bonnie and did something to her car where her car crashed, because we saw on the last episode that Frank was also checking Bonnie's car, when he had got that alert that somebody had bumped into her, somebody had rear ended, had pretty much hit her car. So we were all thinking that Bonnie was the one that was in the accident. We see that, when Frank goes to Laurel's place, she's not there, and he tries to track Laurel, and he can't find her. We see that Annalise and Nate meet up, and he pretty much says that, it was foul play. So meaning whoever was, because we saw that there was an accident and there was a dead body, so somebody's dead. But they said that the accident was foul play, meaning he was murdered, or whoever it was, they were murdered. But then we come to find out so it's interesting I said him, because Bonnie's not dead. Because Bonnie shows up and said that, look, Jorge has tracks on everything that we're doing. So, do you think he's possibly also tracking our phone calls? And she actually meets up with Annalise and Nate. We come to find out that the dead person on the damn table, because we see that there's a woman doing an autopsy, and we come to find out the person that died in the accident was Denver. So Denver was murdered, in the car accident. And we also see, things that's going on around the same time. Asher is still heartbroken after finding out that Michaela has slept with Marcus. And pretty much, Connor and Oliver are watching the news, of them saying that, about this bad accident that happened near the district attorney's office, and we find out that it was Denver who was killed in the car accident. So I'm like, good riddance, because Denver was an evil piece of shit. I was getting tired of his ass, so finally, good riddance. And I mean that shit. So then we see Michaela and Asher. Michaela and Asher are going back and forth. Asher is he's mad as hell because, Michaela cheated on him with Marcus when she was in D.C. He's saying that, you're an evil person and all of that, and he's pretty much saying that, look, we're over. You need to understand this. I'm moving out, and she's like apologizing, like, I'm deeply sorry for this. And she's like, and he's like, yeah, you are sorry. You're sorry as hell because you don't know yourself. I love that ambition and that drive and that passion that you have. I love that about you, but never did I think that your ambition was also going to be driven in the bedroom. And that you, at the end of the day, you're nothing but a power-hungry lion, backstabbing. And she's like, don't you dare call me a bitch. And he said, you said it for me. And then went to the bathroom, and then she gets a text from Annalise, and she says Annalise wants us. And he says, okay, fine, go on, I'll catch a cab. He don't even want to ride the same car with her ass. I'm like, but come on, Michaela, you really think doing that fuck shit, he was going to take that shit easy? You know that boy was in love with you. So we see Annalise, you know, and the crew get together. They now know that, yeah, Denver was the one that was dead in the accident, you know. And they also start asking about Laura's family. Did they have something to do with this? And it just gets crazy. And she's like, oh, my God, I wonder who's going to die next. You know, is Simon going to be on the chopping block next? What's going to happen? And if anything, you know, Annalise was like, look, nobody else is dying, okay? We have to protect each other, you know, to get through this. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to start working with each other. So then we actually see that Laurel gets a call, and it's her father. And Annalise tells him to answer it. He's asking her, where's your mother? And he was like, I don't know. I thought she was with you. He's like, don't play with me. Where is your mother? And he lets her know he's with her son. And we see that he's there with the baby. And he says, what are you? And she's like, he's asking her, where's your mother? Let me know where she is, or I'll make sure that you'll never see your son ever again. And, you know, I'll take him away for good. You know, and she says that, well, that's just it. I want to, you know, you all talking about protecting him. You know, I want to protect him from you. And he said that, you know, tell me the truth, Laurel. And he was like, she's like, look, I don't know where she is. You know, tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. He doesn't want to believe her. And I'm like, this is interesting. So pretty much they had the situation, you know, involving the hard drive. Then they also got the situation with Simon, because we saw in the last episode, Annalise got to him and told him that, you know, we'll get you, you know, pardoned, you know, so you won't be deported, you know, since you're complying. You know, you'll be able to keep your, you'll be able to get citizenship in the U.S., and you won't be deported because you have all of these accusations all tied to you. And so then Laurel gets a call. It's actually the FBI. They want to meet with Laurel because Laurel was the last person to speak to Denver before Denver died. But in all honesty, I think Denver was killed because he helped Laurel, and he gave her that list of the phone records the night Wes died. So I think that's why, you know, Denver was taken out of here, because he gave her the ammunition. And then he's also adding that Laurel's mom is missing, so Laurel must have did something to her mom. Yeah. Jorge ain't fucking stupid. He's really sharp. Laurel's dad. So therefore, you know, she pretty much says, so pretty much they now start asking, what did you do with your mother? What the hell happened? You know, he was like, look, you know, she probably went back to Paris, you know. I just know that I said some terrible things to her, but I didn't kill her. I told her she could go kill herself, but I wouldn't hurt my mother. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So then, the rest of them, you know, the Keating crew, Connor, Oliver, Asher, and Michaela are outside while they're talking to Laurel inside. They're in the hallway and they're talking, and you know, they pretty much thinking that, yeah, maybe Laurel did do something, because, you know, we know Laurel lies and that Laurel's impulsive, and then Ash like, yeah, I know somebody who's just like that, referring it to Michaela. So he's still going back and forth with Michaela, but Michaela checked his ass, and she was like, yeah, impulsive, just like you did when you had the monkey's foot and you ran over Sinclair. And I was like, that shut Asher down. I'm like, yeah, Asher, you forget, she got a card to play in this shit too. You ain't no fucking squeaky clean motherfucker. Because that was the preface of season 2 when you killed Sinclair and they helped stage the murder. So that was funny. So then we see that, you know, the lawyer that was actually going to try you know, the case, you know, because we saw him in a few episodes ago. I forgot his name. I think it's James or something, but he's an attorney that works in the DA's office. He's now like the head, and he does like this speech, you know, talking about Denver and that, you know, And pretty much, if anything, he talks to Bonnie, and he was saying that it's kind of funny that your intern is meeting with the FBI. I mean, do you really, like, what could possibly happen? Because, like, what could have happened that, could have sparked that from happening? Like, she meets with him, and the next thing you know, he's dead. We'll wonder what kind of connection she has. And I'm like, if only you knew. But then, because we saw the last time he was really nasty with her, when she didn't want him to pursue, to pursue that case, I think it was involving Laurel, and he pretty much kind of read Laurel, he kind of read Bonnie for filth and told her to get out of his office, I'm going to actually press full charges and all of that. I think it was against Isaac, Isaac's case, Isaac Rower. That was the case, and she was trying to stop him from doing it, but he kind of flipped it on her. So after that, once they got that situation dissolved, they ain't really been on speaking terms. But he kind of tells her that, look, after the death of Denver, I really want to bury the hatchet with you, and can we be friends? So, and we really see that he really is saddened by Denver's loss, and now that everything's on him, and he says, I can use help from somebody like you. So I'm thinking, there's definitely some chemistry there between the two of them. So we'll see. Then we see that Oliver and Michaela go to see Simon. Simon pretty much told that he wanted Oliver out of the room, because he's mad that because he knows that Oliver's not in love with him. So he's mad as hell. He's like, I want him out the room. And then Michaela pretty much steps in, and she pretty much says that, look, I'm good at hollering at nurses. I got your back. Anything you need, just let me know. So then we see Nate goes through Denver's cases or whatever, pretty much trying to examine, is there any information that can lead to what happened to him. So then we actually see that he finds this case called the Gallivan case. He goes in there and he finds a lot of information. And I'm going to talk about that in a second. So then we see that that Annalise and Laurel meet with the FBI. Pretty much they ask, why were you meeting with the DA, and we actually know the reason why she met with him is because she wanted to know who killed Wes, and she knows that he works with her father, and he gave her those phone records, which is why Denver got killed. But then, what ends up happening, he ends up saying that, but what she ends up telling the FBI is that, she was going to go on maternity leave, and, she was asking, what were her options in regards to that. So she completely lied, blew it off. And, so then she said, well, if you want any information in regards to Denver, why don't you ask my father? He may be able to give you more information than me. So she done turned this shit onto her dad. So of course they're all panicking like, oh my God, but then Annalise is like, that could possibly be a good move, you're sticking the FBI onto him. And then the next thing you know, Nate shows up, and he shows that, one, he said, I went through one of his cases, and I found some information. And he showed that he has Dominic's phone, but then he also has a hard drive. And we're pretty much seeing that Oliver is searching the hard drive, and with all of those files, he could be years searching that to find some information. So pretty much, Connor goes to talk to Annalise, and he was saying that, this whole thing with the FBI and all that, this is just really crazy, I thought things were going back on the good side, and it's like now we're back in some mess. And she had to remind him, didn't I take this class action suit to the Supreme Court, and didn't I name you as one of my key people that helped me with this case? That was to put some fire under your ass to get back in school. And I know what really happened. And he was like, How do you know that? She says, I know everything, honey. I know what really happened. So she obviously knows why he's not in school, and everyone else doesn't know. I was under the impression that he dropped out. But there's more to the story, and I'm going to get to that. So therefore, we see that Oliver and Michaela are texting each other. He's pretty much saying that they're still searching for files and they haven't found anything yet. So all of a sudden, Simon is like, oh, and Michaela's still there with Simon. So Simon, being the simple, manipulative, stuck-up bitch that she is, starts talking her shit and was like, oh, so you have Antari's files, huh? Tell Annalise this. I need proof that those files got something, sinister, because if not, I'll tell the FBI what really happened that night. And then Michaela all of a sudden rose up and she said, like, that would be a big mistake. So I'm like, okay. So then we see that Simon and Annalise meet up with each other. Simon says that, look, with all of these accounts, as well as offshore accounts, we could be searching for years before we find any of this, before we find anything. But then Annalise is like, yeah, which is why we need to ask for help. So Annalise goes to see Tegan, and she asks about the Antari's files and everything, and that some of those files, and she says that she pretty much lets them know that, look, we got the hard drive, we're checking all Antari's files, to see if there's something illegal. We haven't found anything yet. And then Tegan's like, yeah, because there isn't. And she's like, come on now, cut the bullshit. You know that there's some illegal files, and you know exactly where they are. But she says, I'm his personal attorney. Yeah, and she says, but at the end of the day, you have client privilege. You can actually speak out against this, or yet when they take him down, you'll be labeled, you'll be pretty much considered a co-conspirator, and you'll get taken down right along with him. You know what he's doing and know that a lot of these deals were evil. Won't you be the whistleblower? Won't you be the whistleblower? He killed a DA, for crying out loud. Denver was on his payroll. And she lets him know. And she lets Tegan know this is not worth dying for. And she pretty much tells Annalise to get the hell out of her office. Then when she gets out of the office, Michaela runs up and she's like, did she do it? Did she do it? And she's like, and Annalise said, what the hell are you doing here? Go back to the hospital. She's like, I got an option. Due to the fact that he had a gun, that's a federal offense, and we can use that to get him back deported. We can call ICE and get him deported. And then Annalise is like, no. Are you going to seriously do this to the innocent boy? You're going to send a gay boy back to Pakistan where they'll kill him for being gay? Really? You're going to really ruin that boy's life like that? Seriously? And she's saying that, and she's saying that, look, I'm trying to help you to save yourself. You go down this road, you can have a high level of guilt that will never go away. And she's like, well, I have ways of dealing with guilt. And she says, yes, and I've tried it with vodka and trying to figure out ways to kill myself. I'm trying to save you from that because you don't have the same sense as me. So take your ass back to the hospital and chill the hell out. We see, Frank and Laurel, Frank tells Laurel that he went to the hotel room, he didn't find a trace of her and everything, and he's like, look, I love you and I want to get to the bottom of this, but it's making me question, why are you upset that I went to the hotel? Is it because you're looking for something you don't want me to find out? And then she pretty much says, just like you, Frank, just nothing but a damn sociopath, always going off on the deep end. But from one to end of this, I think Frank is on to something with her ass. So we're gonna see what's going to go on with that. So then we see that Asher is still mad about Michaela cheating and all of that, and, you know, Oliver pretty much is like, you know, even Frank was like, look, dude, get over it. What the hell? You know, you really sound like, you know, a douchebag mourning about it and all that. I'm like, okay, she cheated. All right, get over this shit. Like, let it go. But then he's saying that, but then he's like, no, I'm not mad about the cheating. I'm mad that she lied. And he said, and then, but then Oliver was also saying that, look, you know what? We understand of the situation, but look, right now, you're just making yourself mad because you want to stay mad, because you know in your heart you want to forgive her, but you won't allow yourself to. It's like, I don't want to forgive her. It's like, yes, you do. You want to forgive her, but you're telling yourself to be mad, so you won't allow yourself to, even though in your heart you want to. And you're just telling yourself to be mad. Excuse me. And then, you know, he admits that, look, the main thing that I'm mad about is not that she cheated. I'm mad that she lied. And pretty much kind of like, look, people lie. I mean, hell, I've lied to pretty much everybody in this room. And then all of a sudden, Oliver's like, really, motherfucker? What the hell you lying about now, Connor? Well, he confesses that he didn't drop out of school. He failed out of school because his GPA dropped. So that's why he's no longer in school. But, you know, Annalise put a fire in his butt, and now that he's gotten that recognition being a part of that civil action case, he can re-enter in school, and he can probably get in faster now than he did probably previously when he enrolled the first time. Because now you got something to put on your record. So that's what why Annalise worked with him on this case and put him out there, you know, putting him out to the press and giving him that recognition. So now he got ammunition to go back to college to get his degree in law. Smart move, Annalise. Smart fucking move. So around this time, we see that Annalise, we pretty much see that we see Annalise finally comes back. She after seeing Keegan, she asks for Laurel's phone. She calls, you know, her father, and, you know, on Laurel's phone, and all of a sudden the father picks up. It's about time you called me back, and she was like, oh no, it's Annalise. She pretty much lets him know we have the hard drive. So we see that she goes to meet up with Jorge. While that's going on, we see that at the same time that's going on, Michaela is in the hospital with Simon, and she's kind of standing over him like, okay, what is she going to do? Is she going to kill his ass? But we definitely know something's going on in Michaela's head. And then we see that Connor, Oliver, and Asher are going to Laurel's apartment, and they're there searching for stuff, and they find baby clothes. So they're pretty much in Laurel's apartment, but what are they trying to find? You know, so I'm like, but then they say that Laurel's always lying, so ain't no telling what the fuck she hiding. So this is the conversation about Laurel amongst the group, that Laurel is a lying bitch, and she is. She's always in some shit, and she's always telling a damn lie. You know, which is why I can't stand Laurel's ass, because Laurel's always causing some shit, and then she causes more shit when someone tells her to do something. She does the exact opposite. Just a hard-headed bitch. But anyway, so while that's going on, we see that Annalise is meeting up with Jorge. She pretty much, you know, she's saying that, you know, what are you doing here? I want to talk to my daughter. She's like, look, I ain't here for no family reunion crap. You know, here we pretty much got copies of everything. You know, we pretty much got copies. Here's the hard drive, and there's copies of all of it. And he's like, how do I know you ain't got copies of this shit? And she was like, look, you've been checking out our computers and following us. I'm pretty sure you know already if we do or not. But then pretty much she presents a contract. She says, sign this, and it gives full custody back to Laurel, and we can put this whole situation behind us, and we can move on. Oh, but Jorge decides to go on a deep end and talk big shit to Annalise. He starts talking about Frank, you know, being tied to the basement, her little bulldog, and talk about Bonnie. So he knows all about, you know, because what we also found out is that not only did Denver have the hard drive, he also had a case file on every single one of them. So Jorge knows all this information, and he's kind of throwing it back at Annalise. You know, and she says that, look, I'm not here to play this game with you. Sign the damn contract. And he's just like, you just bring out the worst in people, don't you? You know, and she says that, look, I'm not here to do a debate. It's either one or the other. Sign the contract or you're going to prison. And then he starts going off that you took my daughter from me. You don't know what it's like to lose a child. And she says, I know very well aware. She's like, no, your child is born dead. You have no idea what being a mother feels like. I was like, oh, you evil son of a bitch. But then she began, and we definitely see her tear up. You know, like, you gonna talk about her dead kid? I'm like, dude, you really asking for somebody to kill you. You don't play with nobody's child now. You know, and he said that, you know, I saw my little girl who was so shy and so sweet, you know, all of a sudden she gets taken up, you know, she ends up getting, you know, caught up under the likes of you, and now I've lost my daughter forever because of you. You stole my daughter from me. And she's saying, I know how you feel. She's like, you don't know anything. And she says, you took Wes from me. And she's saying that for what? Money? Really? That's all he mattered to you was money? Like, really? You want to sit up here and you want to talk about your family, you talk about your wife, and she's like, and then she's like, no, ex-wife. Because at first she was saying that, you know, because at first he wasn't going to sign a contract because he said, until I find out where her mother is, I ain't signing shit. And he said that, you know, I want to know where my wife is at. And Annalise is like, no, she's your ex-wife. And you need to stop accusing Laura for something she has no capability of doing. And he's like, you really don't know my daughter. So that rang for me because that comes to play later. But then she said that you killed Wes for money, really? And then on top of it, what kind of father will kill the love of the? What kind of father would murder his daughter's love of her life? Because we know Wes was the love of her life, and you killed the one thing that she cared about, the one thing that made her feel love and appreciate love. I mean, because she loves Frank, but she had a different connection with Wes that she didn't have with that I will go to say. So she pretty much went off on his ass and was like, you don't love anything but you. You don't love your damn ex-wife, you don't love your kids, and you damn sure don't love that baby. You use whatever you have to maintain your power and to maintain your tutelage. You don't give a damn about anybody. And he's saying that, and she pretty much saying that, you know, at the end of the day, you lost your daughter. Your daughter's gone. You're never going to get her back. It is what it is. So won't you be a damn good father for once in your life and make her sign the paper? You would rather your daughter go crazy and go into a damn psych ward so you really want to put your daughter through the same pain that you're feeling. What kind of father are you? So I was like, Annalise, want another one. Come through, baby. So then we see that Frank and Laurel are at the place to meet the baby, and she's kind of wondering, I wonder if they're going to change their mind. We don't know what's going on, but then we see Jorge is there, and Jorge's like, you know, I just wanted to see him for one last time. And Laurel's like, you know, get the hell away from me. And then even Frank was like, you need to leave. So I was like, ooh, so then we actually see the baby. She's finally got Christopher back, and you know, she pretty much gives her, you know, he was pretty much, you know, a preemie, so he still needs to be on a certain milk and all of that to give all that information. So pretty much, you know, before they leave, you know, Laurel and Frank, Jorge asks, like, Laurel, where is your mother? She looks to him and she says, she's dead to me, just like you, and walk the hell away. So we saw that go on. So Laurel and Frank, you know, call Annalise. So obviously he took the deal. You know, he signed the contract for her to have custody of her baby. And she says, okay, good. Now get the hell out of there, because you know how vindictive that damn Jorge is. Jorge will have your ass killed in a matter of a second, because that's exactly how he killed West, and that's exactly how he killed Denver's ass. So we see damn Jorge's walking outside, and the next thing you know, the feds come up and they arrest his ass. And we actually come to find out the FBI got a tip. And they got a tip from that motherfucking Keegan. And I was like, Keegan came through. So they went back to the meeting that Keegan and Annalise had, where she had told her to get the hell out of her, when she told Annalise to get the hell out of her office. And she says, you're making a big mistake. And then she says, and then she pretty much uttered that, you know, her criteria as, you know, as her being, you know, Jorge's lawyer. She pretty much, you know, says that, you know, we had Kaplan Plan and Gold. She stated the mantra, but then the whole time while she's talking that, she writes on a pad and shows it to Annalise, and she says, I'm in. So she gave up all the bad shit that Jorge was doing to the FBI. They let her know, we got him, he's in custody. So they said, okay, so what happens to Kaplan and Gold? What happens to me? And she says, oh, you go back to work and keep your nose clean. Everything is normal. No one will never know it was you. So Keegan, and then on top of this, she got immunity for her involvement in this crime. So Keegan's good. So we're probably going to see that Keegan is probably going to be a damn ally to Annalise moving forward. And them two powerful women, yes, that is everything. So we actually see that when the guys were over Laurel's apartment, they moved all of Laurel's stuff out of Wes's apartment. They moved everything to Bonnie's place, because Bonnie's got a house. So Laurel is going to live with Bonnie, her and the baby. And we actually see that Asher is actually moving into Wes's old apartment. And we actually see that, you know, Oliver and Asher have become best friends, and Oliver actually asks him to be that, you know, when him and Connor get married, he wants Asher to be his best man. And that was a touching moment, because I love the fact that Asher is very open-minded, and he embraces everybody, and he loves his gay bros, and he calls them like my gay bros, you know. So it's refreshing to see a guy who's comfortable with his sexuality, and he can embrace people for who they are. So that was rewarding. So therefore, after they get together and they figured out, okay, Keegan took care of Jorge, Laurel got the baby back, what about Simon? And then Bonnie was like, oh, I took care of Simon. We got everything dropped, so therefore he's not going to get deported and everything's going to be fine. But then Michaela was like, well, actually, I took care of Simon. So everybody looking at Michaela, what you do, bitch? What she did was that she tipped off Ice about him having a gun, and that's a federal offense, and he's going to face deportations. And next thing you know, we see the feds, we see the feds come into Simon's room, and they let him know that due to the fact that since you've been in this country, we come to learn that you've been a part of some criminal activity, so you're going to move into a special hospital, meaning they're going to deport his ass back to Pakistan. Boy, they were looking at this bitch like, you evil bitch. Like, why would you do that? And we saw that Oliver was definitely felt some kind of way, because he cared about Simon, you know. So Annalise talks to her, and she's saying that you really went down this road. I told you not to do this. Why would you do this? Why would you put us in? Why would you put yourself? Why would you do that to that boy? And she said that, look, I made the action that you was afraid to do yourself. He was going to continue to blackmail and manipulate us. He was going to continue to do this shit. So I had to shut him down. And that's what I did. I got rid of it. So don't get mad at me because I did what you should have done. So she's like, wow, you always wanted to be like me. You wanted to be what I was, and yet it's taking you down a dark path. And Michaela's like, no, I acted as myself. That's the difference now. I did it because that's what I wanted to do. So I'm like, that damn Michaela. But then again, she does have a point, though. Simon is a manipulative motherfucker, and he don't like y'all, and he was just going to keep playing this game back and forth with you. So, we actually see that, Laurel has settled in. Bonnie has accepted Laurel and the baby into her house. We see Frank is there living with them. He's told him that he's going to go, get some stuff for the baby and all of that. And then we see later on Annalise comes over. But then also we actually see that that Annalise, has a conversation with Nate, and he said that they talk about the whistleblowing and everything like that. And then Nate was like, Annalise, I'm surprised you called me, girl. I was thinking that people be blowing up your phone by now. And she's like, for what? She said, you haven't heard? She goes to she goes in the room to watch the news. The civil action suit went through, and Annalise won her case with the Supreme Court. So I'm like, hell yeah, this is groundbreaking, and this definitely motivates Connor even more. And you definitely see that this was some great news, that her class action suit, for Nate Leahy went through. So I think, Nate Leahy Sr. is going to be getting out of jail soon. Or, better yet, they'll be able to retry his case. So, all of a sudden, so we definitely see that. And we see that Frank pretty much, again, Laurel is settling in with Bonnie. Her and Bonnie are bonding with baby Christopher. Frank says he's going to go to take care of some stuff. We see that Connor is reapplying for school, and now that he has his involvement with the class action suit, he's definitely going to get back in with no problem. And then we see that, he sees Michaela. Michaela comes over, and he says that, you think I'm evil too? And he says that we all are evil at times. And we see that also Annalise is doing an interview, after winning the class action suit. So we see that going on. We see that go on. And, we pretty much see that, so pretty much, Michaela comes in with Connor, and he was saying that, yeah, I'm about to reply back to school, and she says, so she's like, I still think that, Oliver hates me, doesn't he? And he's like, well, Oliver's not here, he's busy. And he's like, well, where is he? And he kind of looks at her. He's actually with Asher because Asher decided to move out of Michaela's place, and he's gonna move in. He's gonna move into Wes's old place now that Laurel is moved in with Bonnie. And then we actually see that Nate pretty much he had let Bonnie know that not only because he only told them about the hard drive in the phone. He only told Bonnie that he also had records on everybody, but he told them that he destroyed them. He actually didn't. He actually has them put up, and he was going through the cases, and while he's reading the case, he's going through Bonnie's, and we see him tearing up because we know Bonnie's story about Bonnie being sexually abused, and then her being as a sexual muse for men. That's enough to tear up anybody if you have a heart. But then he also goes in the fact that she had a child, but they don't know whether the child's alive or not. And the thing is, Frank knows this information because Frank knows her case. So Frank, we think, is going to the store. He's actually at Middleton University, and he wants to, he's pretty much applying for admittance into the school as well. Or better yet, he's been accepted by Middleton University, and he was there at orientation. And then all of a sudden, we see this young boy, and he's talking, and he's kind of flirting with the girl because the girl's pretty, and he's very attractive. He's very handsome, and his name is Gabriel Maddox. Immediately, Frank knew exactly who he was, and that is Bonnie's son, because she said that her son would be around the same age as Wes, and we see that he's a freshman at Middleton, so he found the problem, so he pretty much found Bonnie's son, and I think he's going to end up becoming the new Wes, so that's what it's looking like. And then all of a sudden, we pretty much see that Laurel and Annalise have a moment, and she's like, I don't know how to do this. And she says, nobody knows how to be a parent. You just got to take it one step at a time. But she says that, look, you're not your parents, okay? So, you know, keep that in mind, that you're not your parents, and you don't have to make the same mistakes they made. So she says, go take a shower, and I'll take care of the baby. So we see that Annalise is taking care of little Christopher, and she's singing to him and all that, because it's kind of like it's Annalise's grandson, you know, but she's like going to be the baby's godmother. But then we see Laurel about to get into the shower. Laurel has some damn scratches on her and shit. So I'm thinking Laurel did do something to her mother, but what? So I'm like, see, Laurel's always fucking lying. So the shit that Jorge said about Laurel, that you don't know my daughter, she really don't know fucking Laurel, because we see that Laurel always got some shit up her sleeve. So then we see that Frank calls somebody, because now he sees Gabriel. He pretty much says that, look, I just think we just ran into a new situation. The kid is here. And that's where it ended. So I'm ready for season 5 of How to Get Away with Murder, because it's going to be fire. And I have to say, season 4 was really good. And I loved the way it ended. That was everything. So yeah, shout out to everybody. Shout out to Shonda Rhimes and the cast and crew for this show, because they did the damn thing with this episode. But that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to talk to you about it. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow me on all of my social platforms. I have them all listed in the description box. I have them all listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. And I'll be back with the season 5 premiere of How to Get Away with Murder. So until then, everybody, take care.